Hi there, my name is Chef. Together with Annelies, I work for Civil, the Flemish Centre for Citizen Science. And Annelies and myself will introduce 3 talking points related to the role citizen science can have in a city for you to discuss later on. And first of all, I'd like to start by explaining what citizen science is and how it is often used. Now, basically, citizen science is scientific research that is conducted in whole or in part by non-professional scientists. And these non-professional scientists are often, but not always, working together with professional scientists to perform the research. Now, I know, and you'll realize that this definition allows for a lot of leeway, and you'll notice that there are a lot of different interpretations possible of what citizen science can or cannot be. So therefore, it might be worthwhile for me to dive a little bit deeper into Civil's perspective of citizen science. And we see 3 main aspects in citizen science. And the first aspect is that citizen science can be a huge boon to perform or strengthen scientific research with. Secondly, citizen science is a powerful force for science education. And thirdly, citizen science can be very empowering for the people involved in it and not just the volunteers or the citizen scientists. So let's take a closer look at these 3 aspects. First of all, the help or the assistance citizen science can provide to scientific research. Now at Civil, we are convinced that citizen science cannot be called citizen science with the emphasis on science without there being actual scientific research involved. So this means that the results and the process of the research should live up to the same standards that all other scientific research have to live up to. Additionally, and quite importantly, if we're talking about citizen science, we think that citizen science should be about specific tasks being performed by the citizen scientists, right? So these should be tasks or actions that a researcher, a professional researcher would also perform in the course of their job. So in that perspective, filling in a survey or taking part in a focus group or being interviewed, being the object of what's being researched is not citizen science, right? Now, citizen science is a very powerful method, and often it's being used to enlist the help of large numbers of citizen scientists, large numbers of volunteers to help gather large amounts of data or to analyze large amounts of data. Additionally, citizen scientists have access to assets or expertise that can be very worthwhile to the research in point. For example, think of a project where local fishermen are involved in identifying the diseases the soulfish they catch have whenever they go out on their fishing vessels. These fishermen have specific expertise that's very worthwhile to the research. Thirdly, citizen science brings research closer to society, and this should be and usually is a two-way practice. So science should not just profit from the volunteerism and the enthusiasm the citizen scientists bring on board, but science should also be should be open to the questions and insights that the citizen scientists have to offer. The second aspect of citizen science that we think is quite important is the educational aspect. So taking part in citizen science, it's obvious, is very educational. And not only do the citizen scientists usually get formal training to perform the scientific work they'll be doing, but additionally they'll also, just by being involved in the research and taking part and performing research actions, they'll learn about the subject matter and also about the general nature of science. The third aspect I'd like to discuss is empowerment. So citizen science projects should never be just about outsourcing scientific work in order to get free labor from volunteers. Citizen scientists should always get something back from their involvement in research. And this can be new skills or knowledge, but often citizen scientists also take part in projects to have an impact on their own lives or on the broader world. You can think of many projects where citizen scientists are involved in researching local well-being, improving mobility in their neighborhoods, or reducing noise, air or water pollution in their streets. And especially in urban contexts, this plays a large role in citizen scientists' motivations. Now, the last point I'd like to make before I hand over to Annelies is that citizen science is incredibly diverse. So the most prolific projects engaging citizen scientists do so in biodiversity, environmental science, or mobility research, but citizen science is also used in history, in archaeology, in paleontology, in health research, in social studies, in linguistical studies, in artistic research, etc., etc. Also, citizen science can be more than just citizen scientists gathering or analyzing data. Citizen science can involve citizens in each and every step of the scientific process. So not just in data gathering or analyzing, but also in determining the research question, deciding on which methods or protocols to use, or disseminating the results to governments, peers, academia, and the general public. So we were asked to provide some statements that can serve as talking points between yourselves afterwards. And my question for you to discuss is, can citizen science be applied in every scientific or societal field? Are there maybe questions or fields where citizen science cannot be used? Thank you, and then I'll pass the word on to Annelies.
After this introduction to citizen science, it is time to dive a little bit deeper into who the citizen scientists generally are. With citizen scientists, we mean the citizens taking part in citizen science projects. And at Civil, we did a survey in 2019 and 2020 among citizen scientists. It was shown that in average, the Flemish participant of a citizen science project is male, over 55 years old, and has a higher educational degree. However, we also see many other people taking part in citizen science projects, such as children and youth or people without a higher educational degree. Citizen scientists are thus very diverse, not only in age and educational level, but also in interests, goals, and motivations to participate. And this leads to our second question for you to discuss. How can we move away from the idea that citizen science is only for the educated middle class? And how can citizen science projects in a diverse city such as Brussels adapt to and benefit from the diversity of such a city? From focus group discussions, we noticed that citizen scientists and local governments are often opponents in citizen science projects. Citizen science arises in such cases at the local level as a counter-reaction or a protest against a local policy, for example when mapping a bad traffic situation or mapping air pollution. Yet both citizen scientists and local authorities indicated in our focus group discussions that working together and working closer and growing closer to each other in citizen science projects can be very valuable. By involving the policymakers at the start of the project, the collected data, for example, can be better attuned to the data needed for policymaking and can be better aligned with existing datasets. We collected a list of expectations that citizen science projects have towards their local governments. Funding and logistic support are part of these expectations, but they were certainly not at the top of the list. First and foremost, projects are looking for trust from their local governments and for impact. They want the project to improve the local situation. So our last question to you concerns this connection between citizen science and local policy making. To work together towards a better city, is it necessary that citizens and policymakers work on citizen science projects together? Or is it sometimes better to keep policymakers away from the citizen science projects? And in which cases is that the case? We are looking forward to the results of your discussions on these subjects. Do you want to know more about citizen science? Then you can visit our website civil.be or send us an email at info@civil.be, and we are very happy to answer all your questions. Don't forget to have a look at our toolkits on communication, data management, and citizen science for local authorities.